Welcome back to the Catnip Podcast. My name is Grace and today is Monday, October 25th. October is almost over. This is a podcast about knitting, books, baking, and cats, but most importantly knitting, because that is what I love to do all day, every day. I have lots of knitting to show and knitting to discuss that is not necessarily ready to be shown yet, but we can discuss it, and it is all very exciting, and we'll have a discussion together. I appreciate the ability to do so. I have show notes. I have social medias. I have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Ravelry. I'm most active on Instagram, so please go follow me over on there if you would like. The show notes, like I mentioned, are on my blog. So if you're on YouTube, the link to my blog will be down below, or if you are already on my blog, everything is already there. I will hopefully remember to link everything that I will talk about. If I forget or anything like that, please feel free to send me a message or ask a question or just say hello. I'd love to say hi. I also work at a yarn shop. It is called Pearly Girls. It is in Spring, Texas, and we have all the social medias, website information. I have that at the various places. We would love to see you in person, but we are now also online, which is very exciting. So if you are not able to visit us in person or are just not able to make it out to the shop, you can order online and we can ship things to you, which is very exciting. I am thinking about all the things that I want to cast on right now, and it's both amazing and difficult about working at a yarn shop is because I am constantly around all these things that I want to make, and it's like, well, I just don't have the time to do so. But it's also very inspiring and encouraging and motivating. That's what I was trying to say, and those words came together. And it's just, I'm constantly coming up with ideas of things I want to make, which is not a bad problem to have. But we have things to discuss. It is hot. We are getting ready for another cool front. It will be cooler than it is right now, and that's all we can ask for at this time, you know. But it's coming, and consequently, all the headaches and sinus issues are greatly upon us at this time. And by us, I mean me and Sam, who's also working from home today, which is really great. But we are both having weather, allergy, headache-ness. It's not a fun time. But anyway, such is life. It happens. It's a small price to pay for the cold front that is coming. So without further ado, if you'd like to grab something tasty to drink, something to snack upon, something to craft upon, an animal to snuggle, laundry to fold, maybe you're on your lunch break, maybe you're just hanging out, maybe you're baking. I'm going to be baking later this afternoon. I'm very excited. We'll talk about that in just a moment. Whatever brings you joy, if you have time to just relax and do something that you enjoy, whether that is doing something or doing nothing at all, and you can come back and join me for some crafty chat. So first off, what am I wearing? This is a shawl that I test knit about a year ago in September. This is called the Perplexity Wrap by Tiff Neeland, and it is amazing. It is a wonderful stash buster, a great gift. Knit on very big needles. It goes very quickly. You can put together a fun color palette. This is like literally all stash. I have some hand spun in here. I have some leftovers from other projects. It's just very straightforward. You've got eyelets, you've got garter rows. It's asymmetrical. It's great. I was gonna say, do I have a random yarn over hole in there? But no, it's part of the lace pattern. They're just very spread out. Anyway, I love this. It is also one of the projects that I have not given it to my cat. I won't go so far as to say that I've given it to him, but whenever we are gone for long periods of time, or if like he's nesting on our bed or something like that, I will give him this, or I'll lay this out on the bed because I know that he really likes that and it smells like me. So he likes this as well. Though that's not the point of my knitting this. It can be, but this is not a cat item. This is a me item. And it should be a you item too. You should make one for yourself. It's the Perplexity Wrap by Tiff Neeland. If that was not a good sales pitch, I don't know what was. We knit for our animals now. There's nothing wrong with that, and I love the idea of being able to knit for animals and pets. Mine would not have it unless it's something that I've made for myself like this and he can nest on it. But something that's specifically for him, unless it's a toy. And even then, he doesn't really play with toys anymore because he's super old. It would just be pointless. But we love him anyway because he's the cutest old man ever. This is a very random tangent. I wasn't planning on talking about that. But here we are. So what do we want to talk about? I worked on really only 2 things. No, 3 things. And I have a finished object. This is quite spontaneous. It was quite wonderful. And we'll have some story time. Let's just talk about it now. You know, while we're here. So, my friends, my wonderful viewers, who are my friends who are here today with me? So, where to begin? Recently, my sister and brother-in-law went to visit my parents in Colorado a couple weekends ago. 2 weekends ago, at some point in October, over the weekend. And my mom and my sister went to Maker and Stitch, which is my mom's new local yarn shop. I've been there quite a few times. If you are new to the podcast, I talk about it quite frequently. I have gotten quite a bit of yarn from there, so quite a few of my projects have yarn from there, which is very exciting. In fact, I'm going to talk about one today. And then I have this other one. So they went to Maker and Stitch and they found some yarn that was just super fun, super exciting, and they got one for each one of themselves. Or my mom got one, my sister got one, and then they got one for me and they mailed it to me, which was super sweet. And that just arrived in the mail on Thursday? Friday. Yeah, Friday. And so I opened up this package and I was like, you know what? We're knitting this today. It's happening. It's getting done. And everyone, they sent me a yarn sampler mini kit from Knit Collage, which if you are unfamiliar with Knit Collage, it is one of the most like creatively artistic yarns out there. It's novelty yarn basically, and I will show you in just a minute, but I had 5 mini skeins of various yarns, and this was the ball band basically, and it came with a free pattern, the yarn sampler mini cowl, kit cowl, something like that, and I believe yes, I believe they have a knitting version and then they have a crocheting version of this pattern because you get it free when you buy the mini kit. I got the bouquet one, or they picked out the one that was called bouquet, and here it is. It looks very small, but it grows quite a bit. And I am not gonna block it. It's very long. It's not meant to be super, super big and chunky. I mean, it is super big and chunky, but wide is what I'm going for. Wide is the word I'm trying to think of. So you can see that there are some this is not your typical yarn. We have over here, like this is literally fabric. We have a lot of stellina. And it is just gorgeous. Here we have a little flower that was spun in. I think I'm holding it inside out. There we go. Here we have a little bit of lace, which is super fun. lots and lots of stellina. And so it was a very basic, like, cast on however many stitches on a size 17, so that was amazing. There's one section in here of this one color. This middle color is like the perfect, like, unicorn. You can't really see that very well, but it's like the perfect unicorn color, and it's got the most beautiful stellina in there. There's a daisy. We love a daisy. It's almost kind of like a find, can you spot all the fun things that are in there? We've got fabric that's spun into the fiber. Yeah, it's just super fun. And it was so sweet of them to pick out one for me to send it to me so we can all three have them. And yeah, it was just such a fun time. I have never knit with Knit Collage, and it was such a fun experience. I feel like this is another good example of the ultimate process knit, because you have the fun experience of knitting with this novelty yarn, and it's just beautiful. I did run out of yarn. I didn't plan it very well, but granted, I was just having a super fun time and wasn't paying attention. So I did end up having to cast off on this side with some extra yarn, but honestly, no one can really tell. And I did my best to pick things that would go relatively with it. And so it was just some random Noro that I held double because I felt like it would be blendy, kind of. So, but it's on a very, like, short amount of the cowl. It's not terribly a lot. But anyway, this is it's very long, it's very narrow. We'll put it on top of the Perplexity wrap. But basically, you can just wrap it twice and it just looks like a very fun time. I love it. So yeah, this was my finished object for the week, which I was not expecting to have, but when I got it in the mail, it was like, this is happening today. This is happening today. This is happening right now. And because each mini skein was like 17 yards, like, I just wound them up on my knees, and that took me about 20 minutes to wind all of them up, and then I just got started, and thankfully I had my 17 needles ready to go, as you do. No, that's not a common thing. Not everybody has size 17 needles ready to go, but thankfully I did. I could have used size 15. For some reason, I have like 2 or 3 pairs of 15s. They may be different lengths, but I still have quite a few pairs of 15s for some reason, and that would have been fine too, but thankfully I had my 17s ready to go. And I love it. It's so much fun. It is so unique. And I believe the mini skein sets themselves are slightly different. Because if I remember correctly from the pictures that I've seen, my mom and Katie, my sisters, has a darker pink in there somewhere. But I mean, either way, I really love the one that they picked out for me. It's just gorgeous. So, my Knit Collage mini sampler cowl has been started and completed, and we now have a Knit Collage item, and I love it, and it is super fun. It's just fun. It's another one of those things similar to the Mystery Knit Along, which of course we will talk about, but it's one of those things where it's like, I see this, and as a knitter, I would just want to touch it. I would just want to see what it felt like. Especially this fabric yarn. I love it. Love it so much. So this was super fun. And very exciting, and a fun little treat. And a nice little surprise. So that was very exciting. They got it from Maker and Stitch. Just a recap from Knit Collage. Very fun. Very fun indeed. Moving forward, do we talk about things I worked on or things that I didn't work on? Because I actually have equal amounts. I have 2 things I didn't work on and then 2 things I worked on. Let's talk about the things I worked on, because then that will transition nicely into the discussions of things to come, you know. Because that is not at all foreboding sounding. Let's talk about this first. Everyone, my diamond jumper. The sleeves have been divided for. I met my goal that I set myself. Haha. Now I've divided for the sleeves, and you can't really tell because it is so large. It is so big. I need to try this on, like, very soon. Probably before continuing on too far, just to make sure I don't knit it too long, because there is a very good chance I may do that. Because obviously we can see how long this raglan is. We can see that. And fun fact, if you don't, or if you're not aware of like sweater construction, the raglan measurement is from like your collarbone all the way down to wherever the armpit is. The sleeve, the bottom of the sleeve connects to the body of the sweater, and that is your raglan measurement. Most people have a relatively normal, I mean, it's different for everybody. It just depends because we all have different body shapes, and that's wonderful. I can't remember what my preferred like raglan length is off the top of my head, because it also depends on the type of sweater, and then your gauge, the fabric you're creating, it goes on, and there's quite a lot of factors. But anyway, you saw how long this thing is. You saw, like, that's long. That's super long. Which is wonderful. Don't get me wrong. I am so excited about this, and this is exactly what I wanted. This looks exactly like the picture. I'm very proud of myself. It is a massive, massive project. It is huge, and I love it. And I was correct in the fact that once I have divided for the sleeves, the rows are significantly shorter. They're still very long, but they're not as long as they were before. I would also say that when it comes to dividing for the sleeves, that it has, this is not a beginning sweater pattern by any means. If you knit the sweater, I would highly recommend, if you've had quite a bit of sweater construction, sweater knitting experience before, because there are some things that were a little confusing even for me of how to do or how to transition into the body, which is not a bad thing. It's just a fact. And it could have also been me because it was later in the evening and I was tired, so I could have just not been paying attention. Just good chance it was probably that. But we have the turtleneck, we have the raglan, we have the cables, we have the garter stitch within those cables, we have the sleeves, which are also going to be massive. Like, look how big that sleeve is. Look at that. It is massive. It is so big. And I love it. It's exactly what I wanted. I wanted an oversized, cabled sweater, and this is what I'm getting. This is by Anne Vensel. If I did not mention that before, I don't think I did, and I apologize. But yes. I'm using Cascade Eco Wool in the color taupe. And just for reference, so the pizza from Hand Stitch Life is where I was last week when I showed you. Keeping in mind that I've divided, I was also going around all the both sleeves, which was quite a lot. And then I divided for the sleeves, and that's what where's this little caramel maple donut from Little Bitty Delights that I have. And I wanted to just mark my progress last night, because I did this all last night. It was very last minute, but I did get it done. That was my goal, and I did accomplish my goal. We'll pat ourselves on the back for that one. I feel very proud of myself. Yeah. Because everyone, I want to say, especially, and I'm also going to say this, we're going to say this about both projects. We're going to say this about all knitting in general. But I feel this particularly strongly this week, you know? It is okay, and it is very normal for your knitting amounts to fluctuate throughout the week, throughout the months, and throughout the years. You're not necessarily going to want to knit the same amount that you knit last week as you knit this coming week. Did that make sense? I don't know if I phrased that correctly. Hopefully that makes sense. But my point is, sometimes life gets in the way. Life is stressful. Life has been stressful for a super long time, and there are so many factors in the world right now that are just making life significantly more stressful, whether that be world problems, whether that be you problems that are going on in your life. I'm not saying that you are the problem. I'm saying that there are problems that are specific to you. I should rephrase that. You are not the problem necessarily. It is the problems that are going on in your life, or the things that are going on, the stressful situations. We have been dealing with a lot of stressful situations in our life recently, and consequently, I have not felt really like knitting a lot. So my knitting has been down. I've been really tired. I've been just not wanting to do anything when it comes to knitting in the evenings. And you know what? That's totally okay. That is normal. It's not a bad thing. It's just a fact. And so I feel like it is important that just accepting of like, let's not assume that everyone is going to knit the same amount every single week, because things may be stressful. Things may be going on that you don't know about. It's okay. You know what? Maybe they just don't feel like it. Maybe everything's great and they just don't feel like it. That's also great. It's wonderful. Just if you are doing what you love when it comes to your crafting, whether it's the type, whether it's the amount, whatever it may be, if it brings you joy, that is what is important. So, I could have gotten this done much earlier on in the week, but I didn't feel like it, so I didn't. And that's why I got it done last night, because I still wanted to get it done, but it wasn't pressing enough for me to get it done earlier in the week. This is my diamond jumper by Anne Fensel. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be lecturing here, but I do feel strongly about this, so we are going to continue on as I cram this back into its project bag. It is definitely too small for that project bag because the Cascade Eco Wool skeins are huge. So we're moving on to my mystery knit along. So spoilers for Clue 2. I haven't worked on Clue 3. I didn't get Clue 2 done in time, and that's okay. I'm still working on Clue 2. I still have sections in Clue 2 to do. Because again, I've had a hard couple weeks. We've had a hard couple weeks where I'm tired, I'm stressed out. Sometimes I don't feel like knitting, and that's okay. So anyway, spoilers. I'm about to show my little bit of Clue 2. And consequently, where I am right now, I'm in the middle of a row. So that's great. But this is my mystery knit along for the Shawlography mystery knit along of 2021. And it is amazing and it is beautiful and I love it so much. And also, I would also, especially with this in particular, maybe not so much with the diamond jumper, but I have really been enjoying my experience with this. Not that I haven't enjoyed previous mystery knit alongs. This process has been such a fun time for me. I've not felt the need or the urge to rush through it, and I don't want to rush through it, also because I'm tired. But I don't want to rush through it, and I'm glad that I am not feeling that pressure to get things done on time, and if I don't get it done on time, it's done on my time. That's fine. We're embracing our pace. Just like Stephen West said, we're embracing our pace. It's okay. It's okay. There's no competition. Unless you have said to someone, I will race you, which I have not done, so I have no competition. The only competition is yourself. So you are making the competition for yourself. It's not there. It's really okay. Just go the speed that you want to go. Maybe that's fast. Maybe that's not. Just enjoy it, and that's all that really matters. Can we even, how beautiful this is? Like, what? I just love all these textures. These textures are just so much fun. Again, this is another project I will want to reach out and touch these welts. Like, what? These bubbles? I love these bobbles. I will do all bobbles this way forever, forevermore. I love this version. This is amazing. We have the eye cords, we have the garter stitch, we have the welts, we have the triangles. And I love these colors together. Like, what? I'm so excited. I love how this is turning out. So my yarns, I've stash busted except for one skein. I got a new skein. So this new skein was the Stark Purple, which is Eggplant from Suburban Stitcher. My gray is Kitten. It is Malabrigo Madeline Tosh Molite. I don't know what I was thinking. This bright orange is also Madeline Tosh. It is called Saffron. And then my pink here, you can see my pink is Quinceañera from Suburban Stitcher, and then that orange that I have striped in there for my garter rows is Rusty Rock by Skein Yarns. So, embrace your pace. If you don't knit as much as you did last week as you do this coming week, that's okay. That is fine. Whatever brings you joy, if it stresses you out, then stop. It's not worth that. It's not worth that. Nope. Nope. Not at all. So, I'm still working on Clue 2, and I'm having a wonderful time. And I'm only this much into the bobble row, and it is taking me a very long time, but that's okay because I prioritized what I wanted to do at the time. It was not a competition. There was no competition. I did what I wanted to do last night, which was work on my diamond jumper. And I wanted to read my book, and I wanted to catch up on my YouTube, and I couldn't pay attention. Like, I need something that is like 100% just listening, or like half watching, half listening, because I can't do this quickly or without looking. So, which is fine. It's just a fact. But the things I wanted to do yesterday night or yesterday evening required those things. So I worked on my diamond jumper. So yeah, that was my shawlography mystery knit along for 2021. I am also not wanting to sound like I'm scolding everybody. If anything, I'm scolding myself. When I go on these rants, this is more so a pep talk for myself than it is for anyone else. I hope that it is encouraging to you as well, as just a friendly, gentle reminder that it is okay to not knit. It's okay to not crochet. It's okay to take a break if you need to. Don't do as much. It's okay. Unless you have legitimate deadlines that you have to get done, that's another thing. But if you don't have deadlines, just chill. Just chill. It'll be okay. And now we're going to change the subject and move forward, because otherwise I will just continue to talk about this and I'm just going to talk in circles. So let's move on to the other projects. So I brought in two projects I brought two projects in with me this afternoon to record. I haven't worked on either one of them. And I don't know what's going on outside, but it's very loud. But this is a reminder mainly for myself, just to talk about it, so I'm reminded that I am wanting to work on this, and also just being excited about things. So this one, I'm reminding myself that I do in fact really want to knit this, and I really want to get this done soon because I just really love it. In addition to my diamond jumper, I got this yarn from Maker and Stitch, which does not have to do with the diamond jumper, but you know. I have Farmer's Daughter's Fibers in the Dumplin colorway on the Mighty Mo, and then I have this Fiber Company Meadow in the straw color. Yeah, which is a linen something. Yeah, silk linen, wool, and llama. It is quite the fiber content, and it is beautiful, and putting it with this mohair is like just gorgeous. This is my Pink Fizz, not Pink Fuzz, but Pink Fizz by Andrea Mowry, and I love it so much. It is a bottom-up tunicky type sweater. We have a split hem at the bottom. We have these lace, beautiful Japanese lace patterns, and they are just stunning. Like, honestly, they're one of those things that I look at and I'm like, wow, that's a lot of work. Looking at it, knowing that I've done this. This is not a not a like toot my own horn, but like this is incredible. I have no idea. Like, this is just so beautiful. It looks so intricate. It's really not that challenging if you are comfortable reading charts. I don't believe it's written out. But if you're comfortable reading charts, it's really not that challenging. I mean, you have to read a chart and you have to kind of keep a close track of it. But other than that, it's very straightforward. And I think that's so cool because it's so beautiful. Like the detail of this, I just can't get over it. It's just so beautiful. So anyway, I really want to wear this. And I am just wanting to continue to make progress. So this is me pulling it out and being like, hey, don't forget you wanted to work on this, so talk about it on the podcast, so then you'll be encouraged to work on it because people will be wondering where it is. I love this. This is a drop shoulder, so I will continue working on this until I get to the armhole, and then I will break and divide for the front and the back, and then I will knit up to the shoulder for the front and the back and do various shapings, connect the shoulders, pick up around the sleeve, and knit the sleeve. So I believe there's any lace on the sleeves. I think once I'm done with the body, it's pretty straightforward. So I really love this construction. I just think it's very straightforward, and it's also very satisfying because once you your rows are just constantly getting smaller, because obviously you start, depending on if it's in the round, mainly if it's the round and it's bottom up, you have a bunch of stitches, you knit, blah, 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 blah. Usually in the round, usually really easy because it's in the round. There may be other challenging things. But then you get to the armhole and then you divide everything in half or whatever. So then your rows are much shorter because you're only working on half the stitches, or the front and the back. And then you work on those, and then you do shaping, and sometimes, most of the time, you then just work on the shoulders individually. Then your rows get even shorter. And then you do the back, and then, or whatever, and then you do the same thing. And then you connect the two, and then you have basically a sweater. Depending on what the sweater is, you may not want to even add the sleeves. You may be done. Or do a short sleeve version. But if you do want to add sleeves, then it's just super easy, because at that point, these types of sweaters, the drop shoulder ones anyway, because it's lower down, you have a shorter length to knit than if it was up here, right? Because if it's down here, then you don't have to knit as far. Boop. And so then your rows are even shorter because you're just knitting a sleeve. And I know that these sleeves are super simple, and I'm super excited about it because we love a good 12-inch, 9-inch circular needle for our sleeves. It is my kind of sleeve island. And I've got a bunch of books coming in. Granted, I'm not even anywhere close to being able to do the sleeves, but that's okay. You know. So yeah, I really want to, I feel like a couple months ago or maybe last month, I did a really good job of making sure I knit on several things. Even though I didn't necessarily knit a ton on those things, I still knit on a lot, and slowly but surely they got done, or I made progress on them. And I feel like I have gotten away from that for a multitude of reasons, but I really want to get back to that because I feel like this was one of those things that I had in rotation and I did make a good amount of progress. So I just need to set aside time, or making sure I have a rotation of projects to work on. Because I am not one of those monogamous, yeah, monogamous knitters. How many times can we say the word? I am not one of those people. If you are new to the podcast, I have quite a few projects on my needles, and in fact, it is significantly better than what it used to be. At one point, I had 25 projects on my needles, which for me, it's different for everyone. For me, that was very stressful. And then I worked really hard on it, and I got it down to like 10. It was quite incredible, if not lower. I think it was 10. I don't think I got below 10. It's higher than that now. It's higher than 10 now, but it's not significantly more than 10, and it's definitely not 25. So I'm doing really good, and having projects in rotation is just the way that I really love to craft and I really love to knit. And everyone is different, and some people just work on one project at a time, and I love that. If that is what brings you joy, that is what is most important. So that was my Pink Fizz by Andrea Mowry. My second thing that I want to work on, and this is just a new project, and I'm bringing it out because I don't want this to fall to the wayside because I just have not had the time and haven't felt like it. This is my Vertices Unite by Stephen West, and I'm knitting this out of the Mandalorian mini skein kit from Big Sky Yarn Company. And it is stuck on my project progress keeper. So I think I've made progress. I think I've made progress. I honestly don't remember. It could have been down here when I showed it to you last, but it may not have been, and I may have just, I honestly don't remember. But either way, this is the beginning of my Vertices Unite. I'm doing the small version because that is what the yardage, around the yardage that I have with the mini skein kit. I have 8 mini skeins, and I'm so excited to be able to play around with this. This is just gonna be the funnest, most enjoyable, most entertaining. We love a good synonym moment. I'm very excited about this. And this is not my first Vertices Unite. This will be my second. And I loved knitting that thing so much. There were things going on in my life when I knit that, and again, this will be true of any project. Literally any project, any yarn. Those memories are always going to be in those projects. That I have memories in my Vertices Unite. And so I'm so excited to be making another one, and especially with this yarn, I think this is super fun. Sam, my husband, is a big Star Wars fan, and it's not that I'm not I love Star Wars. I'm not as big a fan as he is. I don't understand all the the history of it, all the little details of everything. I don't necessarily remember names of everyone unless they're like really main character people. So sometimes the references go over my head, but in theory, or not in theory, I love it because he loves it, and it's special to me because it's special to him. I also love these colors because Cassie just does such a good job with these colors and colors in general. I'm super excited. I was striping Grogu and I can't even remember what it is. It's on the tip of my tongue, but it's the ship that the Mandalorian drives. There's an Ava in there in one of the words, and I don't remember which one, and I don't remember what the word starts with, so. But I know that the ball band is difficult to get to, so we're just going to continue on. But anyway, this is my Vertices Unite. I really need to have this be my mindless knitting. Because again, slowly but surely, I've got books coming in to read, and this will be good. Although I do believe that clue 3 of the Mystery Knit Along is going to be a little bit more mindless, less stitch pattern craziness going on. So that might be more feasible for me to do while not really paying attention, maybe reading. I don't know. I magically was able to do the diamond jumper while I was reading last night, and I was very proud of myself. It was a little touch and go every once in a while, and somehow it worked. I have no idea how, but it did. It was also because the book was really good, so that was also a thing. So, everyone, because I don't have enough things on my needles. And we just talked about how many projects I have on my needles, how many projects I used to have on my needles, and all that stuff. I really want to cast on something new. I'm just very much itching to do that for some reason. Or I'm just really, I just can't stop thinking about casting something on. It's not that I necessarily want to do it right now, but I just really want to think about it and, get everything together. There are 2 sweaters that I am thinking about doing. Or maybe 3. I don't know. One of them I'm actually going to be frogging one of my current projects because I, for some reason, cannot get myself to finish it. So I feel like that's a sign it needs to be frogged. It is not of a super intense interest to me anymore, and I know that yarn can be put to something else. So does that really count in my project lineup, because I'm frogging a current one? So there's that one. I'm not sure what that one's going to be yet, but I have things bubbling in the back of my mind. So I have 2 that I want to discuss. One of them I forgot to bring the yarn in, but I was reminded when I was looking at my Instagram to look up the name of this because I forgot what it was, because this was forever ago. And I completely, now that I'm saying this, I've completely forgot to look up what the name of the sweater is that I want to knit. But I wanted to make this sweater for a really long time. So we'll talk about this one first that I have the yarn sitting in front of me. What is this called? That is the Sandoval. Sandoval? I honestly don't know. But it's this one by Annie of This Bird Knits. I've tested it for her quite a bit, and I love this sweater so much. So much. So I've had this yarn, and it was going to be another sweater, and I decided to not do that sweater because it just wasn't my thing anymore, and that's okay, that happens. And so this is going to be this sweater, and I am so excited. obviously main color. We've got this pinky golden color that is just stunning. Mainly a rosy with this blob of gold. And then we've got this darker rusticy gold, which is called Twig from Uncommon Thread. It is the BFL Light DK. This is Madeline Tosh DK in the Hygge colorway, which I also love. I picked this out because of the color, but I also love that the name was Hygge. And then I have Vintage DK from Cascade, or not Cascade, from Barocco, because I love it in this dark brown colorway. I love this so much. And honestly, like, I'm not 100% sure that it will work for this, but I will make it work because I know that it will. Just contradicted myself, but I did research at one point this year. I pulled out all the yarn that I had projects for, and I refound the project for this yarn because I wasn't going to do the other sweater, and I knew that I had this in my library because I also wanted to use patterns that I have in my library that I've never used before, and so I had this Sandoval. Shall we look it up? We shall look it up. Sandoval it is, and now we know. So Sandoval by Amy of the Spurred Knits. This is one of the things that I've had this yarn to make this other sweater for forever. Like, I got this maybe for Christmas 3 years ago. And I love this. I love this so much. This is what I need in my life. It could be, but I have other things that I want to cast on. So there's also yarn that I got at Maker and Stitch around, I think when we were, when I took finished object pictures of this. So in September last year? 2 years ago? Last year. No. Yes? Yes. I don't remember. No, it was last year. What is time? I have no idea. Anyway, so we went to Maker and Stitch. The point is we were at Maker and Stitch, and I got yarn for the Cruiser cardigan by Skein Yarns. She also designs patterns, and I've tested it for her at least once. And I really like the way she writes her patterns, and I love this cardigan so much. It just seems like the perfect, like, throw-over staple, but also with a really unique shape. I think there's a little bit of a dolman sleeve going on, and it looks like so much fun. And I am so excited. I really want to make it as well. And so it's, and there was the third thing of frogging the other one. I don't know. So the Cruiser cardigan is all garter stitch. That would be really nice. That would be really nice. But also color work. Maybe I do both. Maybe that's just the answer to the question. Maybe I just do both. What do you think? I'll include the Cruiser cardigan in the show notes, so if you're curious as to what it looks like, it will be there. I don't think there are buttons. It's an open cardigan. Yeah, like I said, I think if there's garter stitch and there's a dolman sleeve, we can just look it up. You know what? That's what we can do on Instagram. The powers of Instagram. It is so beautiful. She has the prettiest yarns to spin forever ago. Yeah, I test knit her duet tee last year sometime. Where is her sweater? I see her yarns. That's not it. What is that? That is super cute. Oh, bean and olive grown up. That is super cute. Love good color work moment. Ooh, what is this? It's like the, wow, that is beautiful. Huh. I think I need that one too. Cozy. Wow, that is stunning. Stunning. This is what it is. It's like a yoked cardigan. The top is, let's see, please focus on the picture. So the top of the yoke is like garter stitch, and then you've got these like really cool sleeves. This is on her Instagram. I love that. Okay, well, we're saving that into my ever-growing knitting file. But we really just want to look at the, what is that? I love that. What is that? I'm just looking and finding all this new stuff. What is going on? Did she end up... Oh, dandelion. Oh my goodness. I think I need this too. This is her dandelion sweater. It's a swancho. It's knit out of DK weight yarn. I am just... Okay, well, we're just going to add this. Oh, I had already saved that in my knitting file. How perfect, you know. I know what I like, I guess. Where is the cruiser cardigan? We gotta stay focused. I could look at the hashtag. I'm not sure how effective that would be. I think there are other cruiser cardigans. Where is it? Watch me scroll all the way to the bottom and it's not there. Okay, I saw the duet tee. I think it came out like right around the same time. Okay, I see more patterns. I know we're getting close. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Yes, I found it. Okay, so there's a pullover version and there's a cardigan version, and I'm interested in making the cardigan. Oh, the pullover version is actually very similar to the other one in that there's garter stitch up at the top and there is stockinette on the bottom. How fun is that? Oh. Anyway, I will show you. That's just, okay, well, we are just gonna go with this picture because this is what we have, right? Yep, that is what we're gonna go with. Okay, so I apologize for the delay. This brown one is the cardigan that I am interested in doing, and I have the most squishy, it's like a dark charcoal color from Juniper Moon. It's very squishy. Oh, here we go. Here's the better. Oh, yes. Also, just like, styling is such a big deal when it comes to pictures. Like, I love these pictures that I see the project or whatever, and I just want to be that person because I love the plaid shirt that she's paired it with. I love the color. I love this sweater so much. Like, I can't even. She knit this with a fingering and a mohair. I'm just gonna do it with a single strand of DK, and I need to make sure I save this so I remember. Anyway, that's a cruiser cardigan, and I've added 2 other things that I want to make now to my queue. I'm glad that we've been doing this together. It's a wonderful time. Now I really just want to like cast on all the things. I don't have the time. Because I also want to finish my diamond jumper. There's a fine line between like wanting to finish these things and like I do want to finish the Mr. Long. I would like to finish it on time relatively. I don't want to go too over the month. If it happens, it happens, but I would like to not do that. I want to get the diamond jumper done. I'd like to continue to make progress on all these other things. Excuse me, and I also want to finish some other things, which is very vague. Like my Stormy Sky shawl. I really want to get that done so I can take pictures of that when we are in Colorado for Thanksgiving. And then also Advents are coming. And I'm so excited. So excited. I have ideas of patterns, and that's just like, that's a whole other thing that's coming that needs to be cast on and started. And it's such a joyful thing. It's not a burden. It's not a chore. It's just so exciting. And there's just not enough hours in the day to cast everything on. But it's fun to think about. But not to think about it too much so we become overwhelmed, because if you're like me, if you're an Enneagram 9, you may get overwhelmed by making decisions. If you're other numbers too, you may also be overwhelmed by making decisions, depending on what your number is. But if you're a 9, you may understand, I have something in my eye. You don't understand that I have something in my eye, but you may understand. You may understand the dread of making a decision. And sometimes when it comes to knitting, I can overthink things very easily, which means that I'm stressed out, because then I turn into, I take on attributes of a 6. But I overthink things easily, and when that comes to knitting and making knitting decisions, sometimes I can just be a real positive 3 about things, and I can take on my confidence and make those decisions really easily because I know what I want. And then other times I can just spiral and be like, I don't know what I want to do. There's just too many options. I just won't do it. And then that's not good. But that is me to a T. To a T. That's why the Enneagram is wonderful. That is a whole other rant. We're not gonna even touch that topic today because we're already at an hour. I love the Enneagram, but anyway. I think that is all that I have for you guys this week, which is very wonderful. We've had finished objects, we've had progress, we've got things to work on, things to think about casting on. If you have opinions of what I should cast on, like the Sandoval, or the Cruiser cardigan, which would you pick? And that's not even to say that I won't get distracted by other things, because goodness knows I have so much other stuff that I could do. And then I work at Pearly Girls, and so I'm constantly seeing things that I want to make there. So that's a thing. A very happy thing, but it is still a thing. The distraction levels are very high. So let me know. Should I go color work? Should I go garter stitch? Should I go pullover? Should I go cardigan? I don't know. If you have an opinion, please let me know. I would appreciate an opinion, because I don't have opinions. No, that's not true. I do. I have, as a 9, I have lots of opinions. I just don't always share them, and I don't always necessarily know to act on them, you know? Right? Right. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I appreciate every single one of you giving up time out of your week to just listen to me rant and ramble, whether it be about the weather, whether it be about random things, whether it be about the Enneagram, whether it be about how much knitting I get done during the week opposed to a different week, you know. I appreciate it. I have social medias, I have show notes, I have yarn store information, all the various places. If I forget anything, or if you have any questions, or just want to say hello, please feel free to send me a message. I would love to have a chat. Yes. I hope you had a wonderful weekend and you continue to have a wonderful week. If you have crafty plans, I hope that they are successful. I think I've gone over my crafty plans multiple times, but I really just want to, I'd love to finish Clue 2. I really would. And start on Clue 3. I'd also love to, I need to try on my diamond jumper. That's what I really need to do. And then look at, make adjustments if I need to the length. I want to work on my pink fizz. It's not fuzz, it's pink fizz. I want to work on my Vertices Unite. I may cast something on because you know what, why not? I don't know. I may pull something else out from my Languishing Whips pile. I really have no idea. There's just a lot of decisions. That's also an aspect of it. If you're a 9, and this applies to any number, but for 9s, if things are stressful, the last thing you want to do is make a decision. The last thing you want to do. For me. Anyway. Me as a 9. Because that's also my wing and my subtype and all that stuff. I can't make decisions when I'm stressed out. Even knitting decisions. And unfortunately, it's just the way that it is. I try really hard to sometimes. I am, like, it's not that I'm just, like, sitting in that and just being like, well, I just can't make a decision because I'm stressed and I'm a 9. No. No. I use that, and I know that I'm stressed, and I know that, like, that's the problem why I can't make a decision and why I may be frustrated, and then figure out ways to potentially work past it. Because that is what is important, because then you get like personal growth and all that kind of stuff, and it's the Enneagram, we're stopping. It's another discussion. Not right now. Anyway, I have crafty plans. I have a lot of crafty plans. I don't know what the new crafty plans may be, but I'm excited to see what they will be, what they can be, what they could be. I'd love to know what you think as well. Colorwork or garter stitch? Pullover or cardigan? The options. I don't know. Anyway, thank you so much for being here, for being you. You are wonderful. You are enough. Also, if you've taken the Enneagram, let me know your number. I'm fascinated by it. I love it so much. You know I'm a 9. I have a wing of a 1. Yes. I'm self-preserving. If we want to go that deep into it. Anyway, this is the end of the podcast. We're cutting this off. We're not getting into discussion because it's the end of the podcast. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. You are wonderful. And I will see you guys next week. Bye.